So let me just say a few words on the foreign worker dormitory issue. We've had foreign worker cases before, including cases in dormitories. But this time it's different because there are many more venues outside of the dormitories, as Director of Medical Services said, like Mustafa, like the Project Glory construction site, where the workers had either gathered together or worked together, and that's where the virus had spread amongst them. And then when they went back to their respective dorms, they transmitted it back to their fellow workers in these dormitories. Many had very mild symptoms, and so they continued to work. And that's why there was a delay in picking them up. And so it's very likely that the virus spread had been going around for some time in the dormitories, and we are now seeing all the indicators of it. So when you look at the situation in Singapore, I think it's important to realize and recognize that we are dealing with two separate infections. There's one happening in the foreign worker dormitories where the numbers are rising sharply, and there is another in the general population where the numbers are more stable for now. And that's why we need a different strategy, a dedicated strategy for our foreign worker dormitories, because there is a greater spread of the virus in these dormitories, and there is also higher transmission rates given the large numbers of workers living in close quarters. This is a very major and urgent issue that requires active intervention. And that's why at the task force level, we decided to put in more resources and to set up a dedicated task force focusing on the foreign worker dormitory. And we are enlisting resources from the whole of government, including help from the Singapore Armed Forces and the Singapore Police Force. As far as the ministerial task force is concerned, we are also tapping on other people to assist us. The task force at the ministerial level already has DPM Heng as our advisor, but for this particular work in dealing with the foreign worker dormitories, we have invited Senior Minister Teo Chee Hean to help advise and guide us for this piece of work. And given his experience, given that the SAF and the police force are involved in this work, his involvement has been very useful and helpful. What are we doing for foreign worker dormitories? There are two parts to our strategy. First, ensure effective management across all dormitories. And that's where the SAF, the police, are leaning forward, working with the Ministry of Manpower and the dorm operators to put in place proper management across all the dormitories given the current situation. That means taking care of the workers' daily needs and their well-being, because all of them now have to stay in the dorms. So you have to take care of very basic issues like cleanliness, hygiene, their food, delivery to each one of them. And at the same time, making sure that all the safe distancing measures we have put in place are fully complied with, which means ensuring that you minimize the movement of workers and minimize intermingling of workers. So that's the first key strategy, right? Effective management. We cannot rely solely on dorm operators anymore, given the current situation. The government is leaning forward, working with them, ensuring effective management. Second, ensuring effective public health measures are in place. And as Director of Medical Services said, this means deploying medical posts in the dorms, starting with the critical ones, but eventually scaling up to all the dorms, actively screening and testing workers, and then separating those that are infected and the suspect cases from those that are healthy. To do all this well, we will need to reduce the number of workers in each dorm so that the situation is more manageable. So we are moving out workers who are not sick, and we are, especially for those who are in essential services, because they still need to continue to work. So we are moving them out, those that are not sick and in essential services, and we are accommodating them in alternative venues. We have activated a few alternative sites, including SAF military camps, Changi Exhibition Center, that's the one where we organize aerospace. Flotels, floating hotels, this is typically used for offshore lodge accommodation. So we are activating some flotels, as well as a few vacant HDB blocks. So these will be alternative sites where we can pull out workers that are not sick, that need to continue to work for essential services, and we can pull them out and accommodate them in these alternative venues. And in these alternative sites, we will also ensure sound management and public health measures, as what we are doing in all of the dorms. Essentially, we are sparing no effort to contain the spread of the virus in the foreign worker dormitories. We have a responsibility for these foreign workers who have come all the way here at considerable expense to make a living in Singapore. So we will do our part and we will do our very best to take care of them and ensure their safety and their well-being. Despite our best efforts at containing the situation, all of us have to be mentally prepared that the numbers in the foreign worker dormitories will continue to rise in the coming days and perhaps even in the coming week or so. This will happen before they start to stabilize. Right? But we do have a comprehensive strategy and measures are in place, and the agencies are now working round the clock to execute and implement them.